It's 10:45 p.m. You've just finished a glass of water in the kitchen. The house is silent. The hum of the refrigerator, that comforting low-frequency buzz that usually goes unnoticed. But as soon as you flip the light switch, the silence changes. It becomes active. Suddenly, that 20-foot hallway between the kitchen and your bedroom feels like a mile of open ocean. You start to walk, then you quicken your pace. By the time you reach your door, you're almost running. You jump onto the bed, making sure your ankles don't linger too close to the edge. You're an adult. You pay taxes. You have a 401k. And yet for a split second, you were 6 years old again, convinced that something was reaching out from the shadows of the coat rack. Tonight, we aren't just talking about monsters under the bed. We're exploring nyctophobia, the psychology of the fear of the dark. We're going to look at why your brain is hardwired to hallucinate threats in the corner of your eye, the specific types of people who carry this fear into adulthood, and the deep, nostalgic reasons why the night feels so different from the day. If you've ever felt like the dark was watching you back, you aren't crazy, you're just human. To understand the fear, we have to go way back. Before the invention of the LED bulb, before the gas lamp, even before the controlled fire. Our ancestors weren't the fastest or the strongest creatures on the savannah. Our superpower was vision. We are visual hunters. When the sun went down, we lost our primary defense mechanism. The dark wasn't just a time for sleep, it was the killing hour. We are the descendants of the nervous humans. The ones who heard a twig snap and assumed it was a saber-toothed cat survived to pass on their genes. The ones who said it's probably just the wind didn't make it. When you enter a dark room, your amygdala, the brain's almond-shaped alarm bell, goes into overdrive. Because it lacks visual data, it starts rendering possibilities. It's better for your brain to mistake a shadow for a ghost 10 times than to mistake a ghost or a predator. For a shadow once, but if it's just biology, why do some of us feel it more intensely than others? Why does the dark feel heavier for the dreamers and the thinkers? Psychology suggests that how we experience the dark says a lot about how we experience the world. Most people who fear the dark fall into one of 3 psychological categories. Do you see faces in the wood grain of the door? You imagine entire backstories for the people you pass on the street? If so, you have a high level of pareidolia, the tendency to see meaningful patterns in random data. To a normal brain, a pile of laundry on a chair is just laundry. To the world builder in the low light, the brain uses your high creativity to fill in the blanks. It's not a shirt, it's a crouched figure. Your imagination is a gift during the day, but at 3 a.m., it's a horror movie director with an unlimited budget. The hypervigilant, the guardian. These are often people who grew up in environments where they had to be on alert. Maybe you moved a lot. Or maybe your childhood home wasn't always a place of total peace. You don't fear the dark. You fear being blindsided. You have a biological picket fence up at all times. The dark is simply the ultimate blindfold. This isn't a fear. It's a protective mechanism that never learned how to turn off. The existential thinker, the silence avoider. For this group, the fear of the dark is actually a fear of sensory deprivation. Think of your brain like a radio. During the day, the noise of life, work, TikTok, traffic, coffee drowns out the background static. But when the lights go out, and the room goes silent, the volume of your own internal thoughts goes up. The dark is where your regrets, your what-ifs, and your existential dread finally get the microphone. You aren't afraid of what's in the room. You're afraid of what's in your head. Knowing who we are helps, but we also need to talk about the where. Why do certain places like the basement or the attic trigger a visceral nostalgic dread? There is a specific kind of nostalgia tied to the dark. It's the smell of old carpet in a basement. The sound of a VHS tape rewinding in a dark living room. Or the eerie glow of a glow-in-the-dark ceiling star that's lost its shine. We often fear liminal spaces, places that are transitions between one point and another, hallways, stairwells, and laundry rooms. At night, these places lose their purpose. A hallway is meant to be walked through, but when it's dark, it feels like a place where things wait. The media we consumed. For those of us who grew up in the 80s, 90s, or early 2000s, our fear was shaped by safe horror. Goosebumps books, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Or even that one scene in a Disney movie that felt a little too dark. We were conditioned to believe that the dark holds secrets. We often tell children, There's nothing to be afraid of. But as adults, we realize that wasn't entirely true. The world is full of unknowns. By acknowledging the fear, we aren't being childish. We're being honest about the limits of our control. If you're looking for the why, it usually boils down to 3 scientific pillars. Genetic heritage. Studies on twins suggest that fearfulness is about 40% heritable. Some of us are just born with a more sensitive tripwire in our nervous system. The first night effect. Humans have a biological quirk where, in a new or unsafe environment, one half of our brain stays more awake than the other to monitor for danger. If you find you fear the dark more in hotels or new apartments, that's your night watchman brain at work. Trauma and association. Sometimes the dark is a trigger. It represents a time when we felt small or unprotected. Understanding this isn't about fixing it. It's about being kind to that younger version of yourself that still lives inside you. So, the next time you find yourself heart and throat because you saw a shadow move in the corner of the guest room, don't be frustrated with yourself. Smile. That fear is a tether to your ancestors. It's a sign that your brain is incredibly creative, highly protective, and deeply human. We've spent millions of years trying to conquer the night with fire, with candles, with electricity, but maybe the goal isn't to get rid of the dark. Maybe the goal is to realize that the light is always within reach. You aren't a kid anymore, but that kid is still there, and they're doing a great job of keeping a lookout. If this video made you feel a little less alone in the night, hit that like button. It helps the algorithm find others who might need this tonight. And I want to hear your hallway story. What was that one spot in your childhood home that you refused to look at after the sun went down? Let's share those memories in the comments below. Sleep well. The sun will be up before you know it.